In the dunes of these sand lies and survives life, not just of the humans, but also many animals. Desert, where hardship is the second name. Desert, where colors are bright like the scorching sun. And where the ship of the desert sways with pride. Desert, where life seldom wants to stay back. And now the concern is that it is spreading soon to other greener pastures. Yes, we are talking about desertification. Human activities such as overcultivation, overgrazing, and deforestation, along with climate change, are turning once fertile soils unproductive and barren patches of land. Arable land per person is shrinking throughout the world, threatening food security, particularly in poor rural areas, and triggering humanitarian and economic crisis. Desertification in the recent times has caused havoc all across the world. In more than 100 countries, 1 billion of the 6 billion world's population is affected by desertification. It is perhaps a result of a long-term failure to balance demand for and supply of ecosystem services in dry lands.
When we talk of desertification, it's generally conceived that desertification is about desert spread. But land degradation in three harsh climatic zones. One is arid, semi-arid and dry subhumid. So if there is land degradation in these three zones, it is called desertification.
In the last 15 to 20 years, the desert regions have seen many changes. The desert region of India is represented by the Thar Desert in Rajasthan. The soil of the Thar Desert remains dry for much of the year and is prone to wind erosion. High velocity winds blow soil from the desert, depositing some on neighboring fertile lands and causing shifting sand dunes within the desert. It is shocking but true that 68% of Gujarat land is turning into desert. The Great Rann of Kutch stretches for hundreds of square kilometers. It is a seasonal salt marsh. The Rann of Kutch is described as a desolate area of unrelieved, sun-baked saline clay desert, shimmering with the images of a perpetual mirage. Desertification in Gujarat is no longer limited to the Rann of Kutch. It's spreading rapidly in Banaskantha, Patan and Surendranagar districts.
Gujarat Ecology Commission have been conducting a research program on the impact of climate change on desert ecosystem. Particularly, what is the level of desertification in non-arid areas like North Gujarat and Kutch area. Gujarat Ecology Commission, through community-based organizations and forest development agencies in the districts, we have taken up the program on afforestation in coastal areas, as well as digging water tanks to store the rainwaters, which in effect will reduce the salinity level. In the process, the salinity level will decrease slowly over a period of time. At the same time, this will increase the overall, you can say, the rechargeability of the fresh water and pushing the salt water or the salinity level towards the seaside. This has been one of our major objectives, and we have been successful to that some extent also.
Combating desertification is complex and difficult, usually impossible without alteration of land management practices. Desertification can be prevented through specific interventions and adaptations. Strategies to combat desertification: conservation of land, water and perennial biomass, treatment of problem lands, expand horticulture, forestry and agroforestry. Sustainable agriculture can push back the desert. Minimizing non-renewable inputs, relying on the skills and knowledge of farmers, contributing to public goods such as clean water, wildlife, carbon sequestration in soils, flood protection and landscape quality. According to the Central Arid Zone Research Institute, there is a need to increase the vegetative cover and to conserve the biodiversity in the hot arid and semi-arid region of Rajasthan and Gujarat. Forestry has an important part to play in the amelioration of the conditions in semi-arid and arid lands. Forestry can make an important contribution to the general welfare of the people living in desert areas.
Gujarat government has taken many steps, especially the forest department, and we have taken up this challenge to control desertification and salinity. To control the ingress of salinity, we have taken many steps. Some of the main activities are we are doing large-scale mangrove plantations on the coastal areas. We are raising shelter belt plantations, basically to save the agricultural lands so that the saline winds don't make the agricultural lands infertile. Recently, we have got one World Bank gated ICZM project, and under this project also we are going to raise mangrove plantations, shelter bed plantations, and the good point is that we will be involving the local people also in this project.
Windbreak or shelter belt is a plantation usually made up of single or multiple rows of trees or shrubs, planted in such a manner so as to provide shelter from the wind and to protect soil from erosion. The plantation are carried out in the talukas like Bachau, Gandhinagar, Mundra, Anjar, Mandvi, Abdasa and Lakhpat. Plantation of Salvadora persica, or Pilu as commonly known, has been carried out by the Forest Department. Salvadora is able to tolerate a very dry environment and is highly salt tolerant. In addition to this, Bhandara or check dam construction is also one of the mitigation methods. These structures harvest rainwater. On the whole, combating desertification yields multiple local and global benefits and helps mitigate biodiversity loss and human-induced global climate change.
The process of the desertification, the process of the ecological restoration of the areas, we are planning our strategy, both for the restoration of the areas, the linking up to the desertification, and also to see that the bioshield activities, which would be the fallout of this project, is really promoted at the right spots.
Therefore, joint implementation of major environmental conventions can lead to increased synergy and effectiveness, benefiting dryland people. Effectively dealing with desertification will lead to a reduction in global poverty.